Alright everybody, just wanted to record a video for the short answer part. This is what I said I'd record in class. So, short answer, I'm on page 2 of problem set 5-3 that is due tomorrow. Part A says, which of the statistics appears to be unbiased estimators of the population parameter? Justify your answer. Well, let's read what they said. 4 different statistics, remember statistics describe a sample, have been proposed as estimators of a population parameter. To investigate the behavior of these estimators, 500 samples are selected from a known population, and each statistic is calculated for each sample. The true value of the parameter is 75. The graphs below show the distribution for each statistic. So when we say unbiased, what we mean is that the statistic is very close to the parameter. Guess that's difficult to see. So parameter. Sorry about that. And some feedback was it's a little bit hard to see when it's so zoomed out. So I'll zoom in a little bit. So we want to know which one have a value that's close to the parameter. Well, we know the parameter equals 75. So statistic A has a mean of 75, right? That's in the middle. So if I'm coming in towards the center, the height of the distribution seems to be the middle, about 75, so that's good. Letter B has a mean greater than 75. That is not good. So this is biased, because the mean, or the value of statistic B, right, is more than 75. It looks like it's about 80. Now, what about statistic C? The mean is 75. The median is also 75. Of course, the mode is not, but that's okay. The mean is 75. That's good. Remember, 75, if you look at statistic C, might be a little bit challenging, but remember the mean is kind of the average or in the middle, so that's about 75. Same thing here, about 75. Problem here, this is too big. And statistic D is about right. It's about in the middle. It goes from 50 to 100. 75 is in the middle. So D, again, the mean is about 75. So that's good. So A, C, and D are unbiased, whereas B is biased. All right. Let's look at 1B. 1B says, which statistic A or B is a better estimator? Well, A is a better estimator. Because A is unbiased and the statistic has a value, and the statistic has a value that is closer to the parameter value of 75. That's all you need to say. So like basically, what did I say here? I said A is better, A because A is unbiased and B is biased, and B, and also the statistic, let's call it statistic A, has a value that is closer to the parameter value 75, while, let's add a little bit more, while statistic B is biased. Okay. And finally, part 1C. Apologize for that brief delay. On part 1C, which statistic, C or D, is better? Well, I would say statistic C is better than statistic D, because although both statistic C and statistic D, both stat C and stat D are unbiased, stat C has a smaller standard deviation has a smaller standard deviation and thus is a better estimator than is statistic D. You know, when I look at my graphs, statistic C only goes from like 60 up to about 85, whereas statistic D goes all the way from 50 to 100. So statistic D has a greater standard deviation, a greater range, a greater variance, a greater amount of variation. Any of those words would have been fine. Basically, you want to indicate that statistic C is better because I'm more likely to get a value that is in the right area. Whereas statistic D, I could get anything from 50 to 100. Whereas with statistic C, I'll probably get something from 60 to about 80. So statistic C is better than statistic D. With that, I'm going to call this a video. Hope this is helpful on the homework that is due tomorrow.